Respected Professor Emeritus Dr. Usman Bakr, the Honorable Rector, IIUM, Malaysia, respected HE Dr. Qutub Mustafa Sanu, Professor Emeritus and Secretary General, International Islamic Fiqh Academy, Jeddah, Professor Muhammad Isaac, the convener of the program, Dr. Muhammad Manzoor Alam, the founder and chairman of iOS, Dr. Muna AbuSulayman, the illustrious daughter of Professor AbdulHamid AbuSulayman, Professor Dr. Shukran bin Abdulrahman, Dean AbdulHamid AbuSulayman, Kuliya of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences, IIM, Professor M. Afzal Wani, Chairman, Institute of Observatory Studies, New Delhi, India, and Professor Hasina Hashia, Vice Chairman, Chairperson, Institute of Observatory Studies, New Delhi. Today we have assembled here to remember one of the great personalities of our century, Professor AbdulHamid AbuSulayman, and I have the privilege to present his profile. Before this August gathering, I see professors, apart from the ones I have named, Professor Abdulaziz Bargot and other scholars there. So to start with, AbdulHamid AbuSulayman stands as a monumental figure in contemporary Islamic thought, celebrated for the extensive contributions to the Islamization of knowledge and educational reform across the Muslim world. His remarkable journey from the sacred city of Mecca to becoming a revered scholar and educator reflects a deep and nuanced engagement with both Islamic tradition and the complexities of modernity. This chapter delves into his life, early career, major contributions, and enduring legacy, highlighting his innovative integration of Islamic principles with modern knowledge systems. Born in 1936 in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, AbdulHamid AbuSulayman was nurtured in an environment steeped in Islamic history and spirituality. The son of a family that highly valued education and religious scholarship, he was immersed in classical Islamic texts from a young age. The vibrant intellectual milieu surrounding him, populated by scholars and practitioners of Islamic sciences, profoundly shaped his worldview and instilled a lifelong passion for the pursuit of knowledge. Growing up in such a culturally rich environment, AbdulHamid AbuSulayman developed an acute awareness of the interplay between faith and reason. He often expressed that, quote, the foundations of our understanding must be rooted in both tradition and rational inquiry, unquote, a guiding principle that would inform his scholarly endeavors throughout his life. This dual commitment to faith and reason positioned him as a bridge between the past and present, tradition and modernity. In the late 1950s, motivated by a desire for broader horizons and deeper learning, AbdulHamid AbuSulayman moved to the United States. He pursued higher education at various institutions, ultimately earning a PhD in Islamic Studies from the University of Pennsylvania. His dissertation focused on applying Islamic principles to contemporary social issues and societal problems, reflecting his early dedication to addressing the pressing challenges facing the Muslim community. During his years in the USA, AbdulHamid AbuSulayman became actively engaged in academic circles, contributing meaningfully to discussions on Islamic thought, education, and reform. He articulated a compelling vision that, quote, the encounter with modernity should not dilute our faith. Rather, it should enrich our understanding of it, unquote. This insight became a hallmark of his approach to education, inspiring many to rethink the relevance of Islamic teachings in contemporary contexts. Upon returning to the Middle East in 1980s, AbdulHamid AbuSulayman assumed various academic and administrative roles, each furthering his mission of educational reform. One of his most significant contributions was his tenure as a founding member and the second rector of the International Islamic University, Malaysia, from 1989 to 1999. Under the visionary leadership, IIUM evolved into a vibrant academic institution that harmonized Islamic teachings with modern disciplines, fostering critical thinking and ethical education. As a rector, AbdulHamid AbuSulayman emphasized the need for the curriculum that harmonized Islamic teachings with modern knowledge, fostering an environment of critical thinking and ethical reflection. He believed that education should not merely transmit knowledge, but also cultivate a sense of moral responsibility among students. His vision was to create an interdisciplinary approach that connected various fields of study, enabling students to view knowledge as a unified whole. AbdulHamid AbuSulayman played a crucial role in developing IIUM's curriculum, advocating for the Islamization of knowledge across disciplines. This initiative aimed to infuse Islamic principles into subjects such as science, technology, and social science, ensuring that students could engage with contemporary issues while grounded in their faith. He believed in the unity of knowledge, underscoring the importance of an educational framework that reflected both Islamic values and modern intellectual pursuits. Under his stewardship, IIM experienced its international collaborations, attracting students and scholars from diverse backgrounds, and he worked tirelessly to establish IIM as an international hub for Islamic scholarship, fostering an environment of inclusivity and dialogue among different cultures and perspectives. This commitment to global engagement enriched the academic experience for both faculty and students. AbdulHamid AbuSulayman's tenure at IIM left an indelible mark on the institution, positioning it as a model for Islamic universities worldwide. His focus on educational reform, character development, and the integration of Islamic values into modern academics has inspired a generation of scholars and educators. The principles he championed continue to resonate with IIM's ongoing mission, reinforcing the idea that education must serve both intellectual and moral development in shaping responsible and informed global citizens. AbdulHamid AbuSulayman authored numerous influential works that span over dimensions of Islamic thought and education. His writings reflect his commitment to addressing the intellectual and educational needs of the Muslim community. In Crisis in the Muslim Mind, 1993, he critically examines the intellectual crisis confronting the Muslim community, arguing that, quote, "the traditional methodologies have failed to adequately address the crisis faced by the Ummah," unquote, and calling for a reformed methodology grounded in Islamic principles. In Towards an Islamic Theory of International Relations, 1993, he proposes a framework that aligns Islamic principles with modern geopolitical dynamics, proposing a framework that aligns Islamic perspective with all the subjects, especially political science, which is essential for understanding the complexities of international relations today. His co-authored work, Islamization of Knowledge, General Principles and Work Plan, 1989, outlines strategies for integrating Islamic values into various academic fields, particularly the social sciences, and is often regarded as a cornerstone of the Islamization of knowledge and integration of knowledge movement. In the Quranic worldview, a springboard for cultural reform, 2011, AbdulHamid AbuSulayman emphasizes the importance of a Quranic perspective in addressing modern cultural challenges, positing that Islam provides a sound perspective on human existence, fostering a balanced and healthy idealism. His book, Educational Reform in the Modern Muslim World, Challenges and Opportunities, 2003, explores the critical and need for reform in educational practices that align with Islamic values, arguing that, quote, education must not only impart knowledge, but also instill moral values and social responsibility, unquote. This body of work has been instrumental in rethinking educational paradigms within the Islamic world and inspiring numerous institutions to reevaluate their curricula. His emphasis on integrating Islamic values with modern sciences has sought to create an environment where knowledge is viewed as a unified whole, reflecting the ethical and moral imperatives of Islam. AbdulHamid AbuSulayman made several notable contributions that have left a lasting impact on Islamic education and thought. He introduced the concept of asala, originality, advocating for internal reform grounded in Islamic epistemology to address the intellectual decline of the Ummah. He articulated that, quote, the reform needed is not in Islam itself, but in the methodologies employed to understand and engage with Islamic teachings, unquote. His critical analysis of existing paradigms in international relations promotes an Islamic perspective informed by classical thought, emphasizing that a nuanced understanding of Islamic law is essential for addressing the complexities of contemporary intellectual and international issues. His insistence on methodological excellence facilitated interdisciplinary studies, cautioning against the wholesale importation of Western educational models. He stated, quote, we must develop curricula sensitive to the cultural needs of the Muslim community, unquote, advocating for education that resonates with local contexts. Moreover, AbdulHamid AbuSulayman highlighted the importance of character education, asserting that, quote, education without character is a disservice to the individual and society, unquote. His initiatives aim to cultivate virtues such as honesty, integrity, and social responsibility, emphasizing that, quote, true education should nurture ethical and responsible students. AbdulHamid AbuSulayman passed in 2021, leaving behind a rich legacy of scholarship and advocacy for educational reform. His contributions to the Establishment of knowledge and his commitment to integrating Islamic values into modern educational processes and practices continue to resonate with academic and intellectual circles. His influence extended beyond his writings. He inspired countless scholars, educators, students to rethink their approaches to Islamic education. His vision of a unified knowledge system that respects both Islamic principles and modern scientific inquiry remains a guided framework for many educational institutions. The ongoing relevance of his ideas underscores the necessity for an educational framework that embraces both tradition and modernity, fostering critical engagement with contemporary challenges. His advocacy for effective parenting and character education has also shaped discussions around the moral and ethical dimensions of education in the Muslim world, emphasizing the need for holistic approach that nurture the whole person. The International Conference on AbdulHamid AbuSulayman held in 2023 provided a platform for scholars and educators to reflect on his enduring contributions and explore new directions in Islamic education. And today's conference is an addition to that conference, and which is highlighting the great contribution of AbdulHamid AbuSulayman to make his impact known to the world and also provide a way forward for educational reform and integration of knowledge and integration of Islamic values with modern educational systems. AbdulHamid AbuSulayman remains a pivotal figure in the discourse surrounding the Islamization and educational reform. His efforts to integrate these principles with modern education practices have left indelible mark, as I have mentioned already, and much work has been done on him, but there is still need to be done on him so that we can understand what was his contribution and what has been his impact and how we can emulate his different ways and methods which he has utilized for making education a vibrant subject in Islamic world. Thank you very much.